What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, let's talk about 007. So, this was something that I didn't expect, and I have kind of conflicting thoughts on it, so we'll kind of explain where I'm coming from. So, IO Interactive, the makers of Hitman, their last 4 games, and it's counting Hitman 3, okay, which obviously isn't out yet, but it comes out in January. Their last 4 games have been the Hitman games. Before that, it was Kane and Lynch, which I actually played both of them. I didn't hate them, but I was also a lot younger. I didn't really care. I think I rented them, so my expectations were basically nothing. I didn't expect anything out of the game, and I thought it was okay. And again, I think now, looking back at them, those games were not okay, but they've made, for the most part, in their careers, Hitman. So, when they announced that they were going to have a new game announcement yesterday, I was like, holy Jesus, what could they do? I know there was talk of like a partnership with Warner Bros., so could they do something like, would they go into a DC? Would they go with something like strange like that? I don't think that was ever something that I thought of, but it was definitely an option on the table. And then they announced it, 007, a James Bond, an origin film, literally when he first becomes James Bond. Now, I don't remember. Now, somebody said, so I mean, this is technically inaccurate, but the last James Bond game, I guess, was 8 years ago. That's what I read in one article. No, I didn't play that game. I haven't played, obviously GoldenEye is a game that a lot of people, look back on very fondly. I actually have, I think, played it like at a friend's house. I never owned it. It was not something that was a big part. I think it was a little too young for that game, or that game came out before me, before I started playing games super hardcore. So, this is exciting. What I'll say about, and that's pretty much all we know. By the way, it's in very early development. They're hiring very heavily. They're hiring like a full staff basically. So this game, honestly, it's odd because I feel like maybe they're just getting people. This is what I think is happening. Hitman has been their lifeline forever, and that's okay because I love the Hitman games. I think they've done a really good job with Hitman. I'm very excited for 3. Okay, they've done they've done a really great job, but this is it. In fact, they've said that this is the end of their of what they're doing for Agent 47 for quite a while. I think Hitman is something in games that's like Spider-Man or something like Star Wars, like it just never dies. Okay, that's like them for games. Hitman will never go away. Hitman will be rebooted in 5 to 7 years. In fact, we already went through before Hitman 1, before Hitman like 3-4 years ago, that was a reboot period, right? Where there just was nothing out on Hitman, and then they rebooted it with Hitman 1, 2, and 3. And again, I think they've done better than ever. I don't like what they did episodically with them. I think that was a huge mistake that I think even they have said out loud that they acknowledge that was not a good move. They shouldn't have done that. So besides that, though, I think they've done an incredible job. But Hitman's been their thing basically forever. It's what's made them, I think, so special. And then I think what they're doing is just saying, all right, we're done, but here's what we got next. And it's not coming out for 3 years. And I really do think 3 years, because 3 years after the development of Hitman 3, let's say 2023, late 2023, the game would come out. That's what I think the plan is. Again, would they do Hitman maybe after that? Yeah, but I think this could be the start of maybe a James Bond trilogy, and then they go back to Hitman after that, right? So that's what I think the whole plan was. The reason why they announced it so early was just to kind of say, hey, we're done with Hitman. You guys have known that, but now let's give you a very small taste at what the next property we're going to tackle in, which is going to be several years away. So in terms of excitement, in terms of my thoughts, and this should be relatively quick, I will say as in my personality, I'm excited for it. And what I mean by that is generally when any new thing is announced, game, movie, whatever, as long as it's semi-interesting to me, I'm going to be excited about it. It's just my personality to do that, right? I'm more, you guys probably can tell based off of the speed in which I talk and my voice level that I am just a more excited, energetic person, okay? So seeing 007, it's like, oh, that's cool, like awesome, okay? That's like initial. I do have a little bit of concern about it, though, because although Bond is different than Agent 47, I'm sure the game will be at least slightly different. It's pretty close to what they've already done, and that is a little odd to me. Now, not saying I want Kane and Lynch 3, or not saying I want a game like that, because, again, when they tried something very different than Hitman, they landed on that, and that was not a good product. So I guess you could argue they should probably stay close to what they've achieved with Hitman, right? Makes sense. So, I mean, I would agree with that, because thinking about a James Bond game, well, what would it be? to be honest with you, I really think it's a lot of the same exact stuff you would get with Agent 47, but more talking, more story, or now there is story throughout all the Hitman games, so I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm saying maybe more cutscenes, maybe more character-to-character dialogue in a world, but I could truly see it being exactly the same as Hitman, where you put Bond in a different area for each mission, and he has to complete an objective. Now, I think there'd be more set pieces. There'd maybe be more like gunfights and things that are a little bit more like high octane. I don't know, just more like gameplay, heavy focus on like action. Okay, that's what I think. So it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, when I think about it, I'm not saying I'm disappointed, but again, initial reaction, excited, because I'm Alex, and that's what I do. I get excited about pretty much anything, okay? You could tell me there's, I don't know, a lemonade stand on the corner. I would say, that's really cool, and I'd be excited about it, okay? But at the same time, when you think about it, it's like, well, they're not really leaving. So I guess this is a good thing for people that are like, hey, I want more Hitman. I love this franchise. I don't want them to go away from it. I would argue that they're not. I would argue that they're changing it up a little bit. Again, kind of focusing on maybe different aspects of things. Again, making it maybe a bit more higher set piece heavy thing. Like you're just going more into that. But the general prospect of going around, not necessarily disguising yourself, because James Bond doesn't disguise himself all that often, right? But going around and just doing these tests, taking people out, discovering something, blending in, all of these different things. But again, I think there'll be more like maybe he'll jump from rooftop to rooftop, or maybe he'll be able to get into more hand-to-hand combat. You know what I mean? Things like that. That's where I think they're probably heading with this next game. Familiar territory, but some switch-ups. And, again, is it disappointing? Well, I don't know. I kind of thought that they would maybe do something really, really different, so maybe that part is. But in reality, if you do want to look at it in a optimistic side, this could really be like the best of Hitman and then even more better stuff. This could end up being, when we look back, this isn't even a prediction. This is just something that could happen. We could look back and say, you know what? Maybe this was the game they were destined to do, because they took what worked with Hitman, but then they amped it up to 11. And then they did even more stuff, different stuff that we didn't even have in Hitman games. And these games are really good. So that's what I'm hoping for, personally, that this game will be a blend of Hitman, but also kind of different, because I don't really want to just play. I'm not saying it's going to be a Hitman game with a James Bond like skin on it. I don't think, they're not that lazy. They're not like I don't know, they're not kind of like a scummy developer that would maybe do something like that, right? And in fact, it's their own property, so that would be kind of weird if they did that anyway. But that's my thoughts on it. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think? Are you excited about that it's James Bond? Do you agree with me? Do you think maybe it's too safe? How do you think they'll end up making it work? Do you think it'll be similar, different than Hitman? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. I do a brand new video on this channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.